evolution, and this is by Justine Manhars. In general, evolution is about change in population, species, or groups of species. More specifically, evolution is the process by which the frequency, inheritable traits, and population changes from one generation to the next. Okay, one important person in evolution is John Baptist Lamarck, and his theory included use and disuse, which is the body parts of an organism can develop with increased usage while unused parts weaken. And one example of this is the appendix in humans. We don't use our appendix anymore. And another theory is inheritance of required characteristics. And this describes how body features acquired during the lifetime of an organism can be passed on to offspring. But this theory turned out to be incorrect because it's passed on through genetics. And John Baptist Lamarck is right here. That's a picture of him. Okay, now we're going to be talking about Charles Darwin. And Darwin's theory was that natural selection, also known as survival of the fittest, was the driving force of evolution. And Charles Darwin is this guy, a little long beard. Okay, one thing that Charles Darwin found was natural selection, and natural selection is the difference in survival and reproduction among individuals in a population as a result of their interaction with the environment. And this is when the environment favors a trait, selection is said to act for that trait. So in this picture, all the crows are eating green beetles because they stand out among the brown beetles, and that's an example of natural selection. Darwin presented his theory of evolution through natural selection through many arguments. Some of these arguments include individuals compete for survival, so organisms compete among each other to survive, and survival of the fittest, which is the strongest species or organisms survive. Natural selection can affect populations in many ways. One is stabilizing selection, and this eliminates individuals with extreme or unusual traits. And under this condition, individuals with the most common form of a trait are the best adapted. And a graph is shown right here. Directional selection favors traits that are at one extreme of range of traits. That's next to this one. This is the graph. Disruptive selection occurs when the environment favors extreme or unusual traits while selecting against the common traits. And sexual selection is the differential mating of males in a population. Okay, there's a lot of evidence for evolution, and I'm going to talk about 5. One is paleontology, which is fossils. There's biogeography, and biogeography has revealed that unrelated species in different regions of the world look alike when found in similar environments. So two species that live far away from each other but live in pretty much the same environment are pretty much the same. There's embryology, and this is like when two species develop the same comparative anatomy. This describes two kinds of structures that contribute to the identification of evolutionary relationships among species, and there's homologous structures and analogous structures, and there's molecular biology. Okay, so I have pictures of here. This one's embryology, and as you can see, like all these different species pretty much start off the same, including fish and humans, which are way different. And this is homologous structures. As you can see, the bone in the human and in the cat, as well as the whale and the bat, are the same. And then here's an analogous structures. Now I'm going to talk about sources of variation. There's mutation, sexual reproduction, diploidy, outbreeding, and balanced polymorphism. And we're going to talk about causes of change in the allele frequencies. And there's natural selection, which is the increase or decrease in allele frequencies due to impact of the environment. Mutations introduce new alleles that may provide a selective advantage. Gene flow. This describes the movement of individuals between populations, resulting in the removal of alleles from a population when they leave, or the introduction of alleles when they enter. Genetic drift, which is a random increase or decrease of alleles. Non-random mating occurs when individuals choose mates based upon their particular traits. Now we're going to talk about genetic equilibrium. When the allele frequencies in a population remain constant from generation to generation, the population is said to be in genetic equilibrium. And you can see right here, the genetic equilibrium is determined by evaluating the following values. And then we're going to talk about speciation, and speciation is the formation of a new species, and this occurs by the following processes. There's sympatric species, which is not shown, and allopatric species. And thank you for watching my video.